really finding a huge word to use, but a simplistic way, and it catches the eye. That's I was saying that we continuously have to be students. So I also go to some of these things to improve my vocabulary. What am I going to say? The other time I was watching one about colors. These days, red, burgundy. So you have to find a way of, fitting into the society. And what words are you going to get? Like I mentioned earlier, you can say 10, I can say decade, we are saying the same thing. You can say 100, I'm saying century, we are saying the same thing, right? So we have to be able to find very simple words, very catching. If I ask you about time, I'm sure all of you will say 6:30, 6 p.m., while some people will say twilight, We have different ways of calling time. Some people will say dawn, others will say dusk, others will say, I don't know, noon, someone will say 12 p.m. So you have to find ways that are really good. Eye-catching, you're able to talk to a person and they think you know a lot of English, yet you just picked your words right. And then, I wanted you to watch that video, which we have done. So as we conclude, this is what I want to talk about, food for thought. You are your own boss, Whether I work for a company, whether I'm my own boss at the end of the day. So, people buy the impression of what you tell them the product is. Let me give an example. Bad Black. She sells to people. What does she sell? You're all women. Okay, they are men, sorry, they're women. She sells to people what? What are those busy go? For bleaching. So, the way she sells it, you think, hey, I've never used this product, but I have to use it. Meanwhile, she doesn't use it. That's not the product that she uses. And then you come back saying, oh, my skin is burnt, what? But the way she sold it to you, it is that product that she's selling. This morning, we were talking with a friend of mine, and somehow the conversation came up of men. Again, don't laugh at me. There are so many things that men are using these days. It's just a conversation that we're having with my friend. And when we are Googling, there is this other drink called Campe. Have you guys heard about it? Who knows Campe? Or there are these drinks, Molondo, So it is the way someone is going to sell to you that thing. You don't even know it. But the impression of that product is going to make you buy it. Everyone is trying to solve a problem. But is it even? Is it working? All of us have the energy drinks. I don't know how many there are these days. Red Bull, Simania Sting, what? There are so many. But we are all trying to say, okay, I need energy. Let me go and buy this one. But the original one, the one that people really knew then was Red Bull. But now everyone, the industries, every sort of like soft drink industries are coming up with different things. So the impression of what you tell people about your product is what they will take. If I get this Renzori water and then call it Flavia Eleanor and I come here and I say it is from the springs of the moon, somewhere on earth, you buy the water, the impression, and what I make you think that is. Most women are bleaching, right? These days, it's reality. You find someone who was in school and they were very dark, and now you're finding them and thinking, what? When did you become light? Because there's so many products. But the impression, you find the lady in Chikubo selling, the Unity Skin Clinic at Acacia is selling, everyone is trying to sell. Now, there are those who are selling the harsh ones, there are those who are selling the expensive ones, but the impression. So someone comes in, you forget that this is Flavia's color, she walks in and tells you, no, I sell this Visigo, and it works. Like, what? It works, but black type. Like, yeah, it works, then you start using it. You're not becoming as light as you wanted to be or as beautiful as you wanted to be, and you start quarreling about the product, but the impression I sold to you. So what are you selling tomorrow to your judges? Think about it. Unless I have questions. Yes. Where's that other microphone? Meanwhile, these days there is also what? CP water, right? Is it that guy who ran and won? Tameto. Isn't there water named after him? You guys don't know. There is water, so people drink it. Now the people in the villages, of course, will be excited. So the impression again. Yes, please.
Thank you. I wanted to ask about developing. My name is Komhanj Tumhire. I'm with Borpe. Okay, I wanted to ask about developing products that can be used by people at the bottom of the chain, you said, something like that. And I wanted to ask, as an innovator, when you're trying to drive change or you're trying to bring them to speed of development in technology, so when you keep developing products that they can use comfortably in their way of life, doesn't that in a way strive for change or development? When you want to develop something that can give them the FOMO factor, fear of missing out, how best can an innovator create a product that can drive a revolution of change? Yeah.
By studying your environment. If you want to impress me, right, you're trying to develop a product for me. What product would it be? I'm in Kampala.
Okay, I'll give an example, sorry. If I'm developing a product for someone in the village, or for I want it to help them, but I also want it to sort of steer them towards a better tomorrow, something that I'm envisioning. So you would target a certain group. Now, like we are developing products, some people use smartphones, others use Kabiriti, others use the smart feature phones, and you want to bring them up to speed, let's say up to the smart feature phones from the Kabiriti phones. But when you develop that product, how best can you convince them to look out for the smart feature phones, to use the product? I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yes, you're actually making sense, but I also posed a question to you. Because you want to develop a product, right? Develop one for me. I am here. What product would it be?
For you, as you. A beauty product. A beauty maintenance product.
Okay. Yeah, that can work. What would you develop for someone in Karamoja? Then I'll answer you.
Vaseline.
Have your answer. So you really don't have to scratch your head so much to say, I am trying to develop for the underserved. How am I going to develop for them? Go down. Get to learn them. What do they want? Meanwhile, the word that you have mentioned, that Kabiriti thing, used to be those days of MTN. Are those phones still there? No, they are called feature phones. Kabiriti phones are no longer there. It used to be a product for MTN called Kabiriti. But those small phones. Anyway, the phones, they're called feature phones. The non-smartphones are called feature phones. So if you're developing a product, develop, who do you want to develop for? Is it the upper class people, middle, the corporate? Is it the underserved? And then I said the underserved, and I'm trying to find a word which I'm sure I will find. Very, very underserved. You know that very, very underserved? You guys, Karamoja. I have been there. You go to those people. Even when you talk about a feature phone, someone is looking at you like, which world are you coming from? Who am I calling? Where's the network here? It is on and off. Do you understand? Now, if I want to develop that product for someone in Karamoja, deep down in Chidepo where we went, you need to be able to understand that market segment. What is that market segment like? If I develop an iPhone, am I making sense to them? No. Well, the person in Kampala will be so excited to have a Samsung, an iPhone, a phone that flips, and they know how to use it. So we're developing for them, but very intentional. Because what you're developing for them will automatically catch their eye because it's speaking to them. You don't even have to speak so much about it or convince them. Have you brought a mast in Karamoja? Is a network there? Here is a feature phone. This is how it works. There is some crack, and I will crack it. I need phones that speak all languages. All. Like if I take to my grandmother this phone, it should have Luganda all the way, even the app. Everything they need to understand. Do you understand? Do you get what I'm trying to say? We are so much of the corporate people, the up-class people. But yeah, you've given me a phone as a gift. I only speak, I don't know, Swahili. Only. I don't even know what this phone of yours is saying. Of course, there are those inbuilt languages that you pick up and then particular languages, but me, I'm talking about our local languages. Someone in Kabong, if you give them a phone and they've never been in a school, they have to be excited because that phone is speaking them. When you go to message, it is saying a message, I don't know, in Luganda, or calendar. Someone really understands it. Then they'll be excited about having that product. Have I answered you? Mm-hmm.
Yes, you have. And that brings me to a point whereby I can ask, how is it even possible to embed lifestyle development into innovation?
You just said.
Yeah.
You're developing for me a beauty product. You don't even know me that much. But I think you're looking and saying, okay, I think this is what you would want. What has informed you that that is what I want? That is lifestyle. That is why we are developing. Otherwise, why are we developing? We are wasting time. The reason why Apple came up with these phones, they knew that someone would buy them. They went into the market and knew that if we do an Apple M2 laptop with a thumbprint, it is going to wow some people. While I hold it, if I go to Karamoja, someone is not even interested. What are you holding? What is that? What are you using to work? So that is lifestyle. We are developing for lifestyle, my friend. Otherwise, the people for jewelry, the perfume guys, the Givenchy's of this world, all those designers would not be designing if it was not for lifestyle. So all of us are developing in perspective with lifestyle. It should be that way. So as you're developing, you don't have to develop a smartwatch, whereby you know I don't even have a smartphone to connect to the watch. What are you giving me at the end of it all? Do you understand? You've got it? Yeah, yes, please.
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Sunita Namujumbi from Business Banking Hub. And I wanted to ask, what are the right gestures? Should I move my hands when I'm presenting? Should I use the whole space? Because I see some people come to present, they move. Like, what really is it? Then the other question is, how can I wow the judges? Should I probably make jokes, give like something? Like what?
Okay, again, it's your audience. Some people who you see moving around, it's because maybe they're in a class. Right now we are learning, right? So someone can move around, you can try to show gestures, but when you go for, let's say, an interview, there are certain gestures you're not supposed to do. When you go, now we're talking about business presentation, so certain gestures are okay. If you're trying to point, if to put a point home, you can move your hand. Because also when you move your hand, you're letting the people come in with you. You understand? Not overly doing it. Like you've gone to pitch to investors, you're walking around them, you go around their table, you come around, you go everywhere. You understand? So also the audience matters. Which audience am I going to? If I'm going to investors, I can't walk around. If I'm going to a class of, let's say, primary children, I have to walk around. I have to understand them. Some of them are very cheeky. They're under the table. You know, so it depends on what, on who you're pitching to. Eh? Then, what was your second question? How do you wow the judges? Again, I'm going to go back to knowing, because when you walk in, you see some people, and you know, instinct will tell you, this judge is like this one, quickly. Eh? And then also when they start talking back to you, you'll get to know her. This one here is one to convince a lot. This is what I have to say. But most times when you're introducing yourself, not the boring way. There are many ways to introduce yourself. Like I said, keep watching the videos. You will learn. It's not every time I'm going to come into a room and say, my name is so-and-so. You see, I mentioned my name, and then I captured your attention by telling you there is a third name of mine that is always missed out. But this is how I pronounce it. You understand? I'm letting you know that there are some people who are fearing to pronounce my name in a polite way. You get? So I'm already capturing your attention. And then for some people, it'll be like, she's confident. she's off like this. She's wearing glasses, maybe she's so proud. Do you understand? So by the time you walk in and you start talking, someone is already knowing. Then also your intuition. Use a lot your intuition. It will tell you, this person is like this, what do I say to them? People who are introverts are very quiet. If you ever walk into an audience and you're pitching to people and you see this person quiet, they're already thinking and they even know what you're going to say next. So you have to convince them a lot because they always listen. You understand? So look out, how are our judges today? Okay. Then you know what to tell them. Sometimes it comes automatically. When I walked in here, I didn't know you people. I've met a few, but I was wondering what I'm going to tell you first. If I walk in here, what am I going to say first? And also if I walk into, like when I went to Women in FinTech, we're talking about technology and I'm mentoring a different category of people. What am I going to talk about? Technology. So even that day you come dress technology. Do you understand? Like I'm going to talk about technology. I have to talk about this. I have to do this. You walk that talk. Okay. Anyone else? Please switch off. Who has the microphone?
Thank you. My name is Mariam Dagire. My question is, in the effort to try to impress the judges, as you said, advanced English, okay, not the certificate, but the advanced English, trying to impress them, to some it may come off as superiority complex. How do you deal with that? Thank you.
Please switch off. But you see, the complex, you're thinking about it, right? You who has come to present and you're saying your words, it is you who is thinking, I think I'm so knowledgeable that even people have a complex. Who has told you we have a complex? We have come to listen to you. So tell us who you are. And eventually people will get to know you. It is very rare that you will find mature people seated on a panel judging your words. Do you understand? Like they're way past that. They're trying to find out who are you? What are you bringing on table? So that complex, I really don't think you will find it. If the person doesn't know the English word, the polite thing to ask is, hey, what does that word mean? But you're not using a complex word. Do you understand? If we're saying many and me I'm saying numerous, we're saying the same thing. How complex is your word? We're just trying to replace one for another. And most times when we are going to present, it's us who are thinking the negative things about ourselves. You imagine I walked in here saying, I think they're even not going to understand my presentation. What am I going to talk about? I think, I am so bad. By the time I come to this audience, everything I'm going to tell you is negative. Or I'm going to be presenting not very confident about myself. Meanwhile, for you, you're thinking, I want to take the knowledge home. I want to understand, what is she saying? What did she say about pitching? What did she say about the elevator pitch? It is usually we are our own enemies. We're the ones coming on saying, I am so bad. Who told you? I am so ugly. Today I've dressed so badly. You're the one telling yourself, but you left your home dressed like that. Why are you thinking you're dressed badly? Why are you thinking your hair is not good, yet you went to the salon and worked on it? By the time you did it that way, that is your style. Wear it. Make everyone think that is the hair. Like, walk around and be very confident. So the complex, you're the one thinking it, not the judges. No. I've answered you. You're good?
Thank you so much. My name is Tsume Fortunate Agnes from the FinTech Empowerment Hub. So for me, we've been discussing this whole confidence element in a long time. But for me, like facial expression and body language for different people communicates a lot to me. And my worry usually is, okay, like these judges, the people that wear very scary faces, you look at someone, you're like, oh my God, what am I going to tell them for me to convince them and get what I want out of them? Like, okay, I've been thinking about it all this long, and I'm like, what are these judges going to be looking like? What if they're scary?
The judges are born just like you. So if you find someone with a tough face, continue with your business. Again, it's what you're thinking. Sometimes the judges put on those faces because they've already discussed amongst themselves who is going to role play. And they'll be like, you, I think you can play this better, scare them off, try and do this. You know, we're just about to give out our money, so we cannot just give out our money. Someone has to do something. Then for you, come in saying, okay, now the judge is so tough. They're role playing. Again, we are our own enemies. For us who are going to present, can you imagine, you're already thinking about tomorrow, when it's not yet here. Like you're thinking about how the judges are going to be. The judges will be role-playing tomorrow. So you just walk in, tell them your name, be confident. You know, also, I was trying to tell you that some people are suppressed when they are still young. Some of us who are tall, when we were still young, they used to say, oh my goodness, you're so tall. You know, like how you used to line up in a class, you're the last one on the line. They're like, you feel like becoming shorter until you grow up and you realize actually height is a good thing. So some of the things that you have, you as a human being, use them. Walk into a room, walk in, and the time you walk in, you've already commanded. Even that judge who is trying to be tough will be smiling. The last question, please. I've taken up a lot of time, but I'm hoping that we've all understood and ready for tomorrow. Someone has a microphone. That's the last question for today.
Thank you. So my name is Diana from Bope, and we are dealing with boreholes. I just want to ask, so there are levels to being underserved. There are those communities like the one you talked about in Karamoja, that people are very poor and they don't even have phones. And then there are other rural communities that are also poor, but at least people have phones. So like, what is the best way to pitch and be like, me, I want these ones that at least have phones, but are still poor and are underserved?
It's what you're developing. You're developing for who? The rural ones?
Yeah.
Very, very, very underserved? Who are you developing for? Takes you back. Your innovation and what you're coming up with. Who is it for? Which market?
Like you're poor, but at least you have like a phone.
What you're developing, so develop for that one. Then you're going to find someone who has a passion for developing for the very, 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 very underserved. So I hope I've answered your question. Thank you very much. You've been a very good audience or class, or I don't know what to call you, very beautiful people and handsome men. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate, like I said, if you want me to tell you about my elevator pitch, I will be seated in that corner. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Flavia. Once again, let us applaud her. So, what do you think? Are you confident now? The first time I met Flavia, I'm like, wow. I was like, wow. I think it was in 2021. Yeah. Or 2020. No, 2021. Yeah, she came for a panel discussion and she was all this elegant. And I'm like, wow, is she approachable? But she is. She's very soft. Today, I'm surprised she really raised her voice. She speaks very softly. When she calls you over a phone call, you may not hear her. Like, hello, Charlotte, how are you? So we thank you so much, Flavia. Thank you for sparing time to be with us. And now I'm going to invite Cleopatra and Dorothy to give us some instructions. Are you ready for tomorrow? Yeah? Are we ready? Like for reals? For reals, are we ready? Let me see those who feel themselves like, yeah. Please, hands up. Okay, if you will. Elite. Yeah, Elite, they are ready. Oh, Boape. Yeah, HPesa. Science. That name, goodness. Oh, e-parking. Please, hands. Banking Hub, what's up? Banking Hub. Oh, PesaJet. Wow. Oh, tax on point. Achievers. You are the achievers, please.
Hello, everybody. The teams we've seen, and those we've not seen, you're going to meet us. at the back, please don't go away. Okay? So Mr. Simon was supposed to be here to take you through API integration for those who said they were still having trouble. So if you're still having trouble, you can stick around for a little while until he returns from where he's going to. Okay? So tomorrow, presentation. Flavia has taken you through pitching, right? The way you dress, your composure, that is going to earn you marks or going to make you lose marks, right? And we are not the judges. So for those who are worried, Cleo or Simon, no. Okay? Yeah, it's going to be level ground. You're going to be judged by people who have not met you, but will judge you from what you're presenting. Okay? So be clear and concise. All right. And your pitch deck should include the problem statement. Okay, definitely introduce the team. Okay? And who you are. Then the problem statement, core value preposition, and then get straight to the MVP. Okay? So, yeah, for those who have been around, there's a bit of change, right? We're not going to do all the slides because we have more participants this time around. Okay? Introduce the team, go to the problem, your core value preposition, because it's speaking about the solution, right? So you're basically stating the problem and the solution, and then the X factor, okay? How are you doing it differently from whatever is there already? Then go to the MVP. Some people still have mock-ups. Yeah. Okay? Some people, you know yourselves. Some people still have mock-ups. Right? Yes? You can project. Huh? Mm-hmm. Can you project your voice?
All right, thank you. My questions are two. One, we have come up with systems, and some time back, you talked about us submitting the links, and for those who have the mobile application, they submit the APK. Now, some systems are running locally, because I doubt whether many of us have hosted on the servers. So in case I gave you a link of a system that is running local on my machine, that means you may not be able to access it. So how are we going to go about that? Because that was a requirement. Thank you.
Are those the two questions? You said you had two. Okay, so all of us, because we're implementing Moja Loop, okay, you have Docker that is running locally on your machine, right? So Paul spoke about creating a hosting environment that you could all use, but I think the time has not allowed because he's been busy with his other meetings. Okay? So you're going, Axam, you're not yet safe. You'll be coming here with your computer or your mobile phone. No, actually mobile phone, because you have to, computer, because you have to project. Okay? Do a simulation, then the judges, you have to go and show the judges if you have a mobile application. Okay? Then for those with websites, you can easily show us everything that you need to show us here. Right? Yeah. Any other questions? You don't off the hook, because we still have mock-ups, not even prototypes. Yes?
to kind of I call it repeat, but take us through exactly the slides. We know exactly. Like when I come, problem, solution, product, this, go to this. Kind request.
Okay. So he's asking me to repeat, right? So your first slide should ideally have your teammates, right? And your name, your team name. Hello everybody, this is HiPipo. I am team lead. And these are my teammates. So and so and so and so. Right? Second slide. Let's talk about your solution. Right? We are solving A, B, like that. Then, third slide, the problem you've identified. Okay? Then, fourth slide, your core value preposition. Okay? When you're done with core value preposition, we then want to see the MVP. Okay? Very simple. So those are about, who was counting? 5? Someone has a question behind them. Yes? So they're asking what the MVP is. Okay? And it's the actual application. Okay? So it's either the website for those that have websites or the mobile phone application. Right? Anybody still confused about what the MVP is?
So how much time will be given to each group for presentation?
Charlotte, how much time? 10 minutes for presentation tomorrow?
Flavia should help us and tell us how long a pitch deck takes.
Already about 10 to 15 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, so 10 it is.
15 is a lot. Right? 10 minutes are enough. So just make sure you've organized your work the way we gave you comments at the back there. Use accounts that are already existing so that you don't have to keep on logging in and you're wasting time. Right? Then also, pre-qualifiers are modular. Have modular integrated and indicate the level 1 principles that you've considered. Very simple. Okay? Are we clear on what we're expecting tomorrow? Make the slides beautiful. Okay? Could use Canva, but submission is by 8 a.m. 7? No, not 9. 8 a.m. We're giving allowance to people whose servers crashed, okay? And they have wireframes at this point. So 8 a.m., we're trying to be as lenient as we can. Okay? So submissions close at 8 a.m. If you've not submitted your pitch deck, you're not going to present. Okay? Any other questions?
Thank you. I remember Madam Sharod talked about when we have been submitting this as other assignments, she has been like, we send them separately to the drive. So I don't know, is the pitch deck the same as what we are submitting? Or we are supposed to submit two things, the pitch deck and the other slides with all the work we have been doing combined?
So we already have the other slides for those that have been submitting their work promptly. Okay? Those slides are already existing. So what you're going to upload is a separate file for the pitch deck, because we shall need a lot of time for you to go through everything from the start, which is nearly impossible. Right? So that is why we're trying to summarize this. So the pitch deck has to be named accordingly. Right? Don't add it to the compilation that you've been having. Any other questions? How do I win the money?